And we are live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My apologies for starting a little behind schedule. I was having little issues with my slides, and I really thought to myself, like, I've prepared these slides already. We mustn't miss out. Thank you so much for joining in. So, I am hosting this live webinar from Lagos, Nigeria. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Please let me know. Hello, Mr. Alex. Hello, Lynn. Hello. Let me know where you are joining in from. So I'm hosting this live session from Lagos, Nigeria, and I am super delighted to be here today. So let me know where we're joining in from. I was starting right away. We are already behind schedule. So, and I know how hard it can be on a Sunday evening to take out time to be in a session. But of course, I know that this is important to you. That is why you have made out time to be here. So yes, please, let's keep the comment section buzzing. I want to know where we are joining in from. Oh, wow, from South Korea, from Abuja, from Warri, Delta State. Awesome. Welcome once again. And trust me, this is going to be worth your while. This is going to be worth your time. Khadija from Canada, thank you. It's almost all the parts of the country and almost all continents are represented here today. I am delighted. So let me quickly introduce myself. In case maybe you don't know me too well, I'm Sosia Motosh and I'm a real estate and business lawyer. I have over 15 years experience. So I've authored 3 books. I lead a team at Caris Legal Practice from Ibadan, Lagos. Welcome. So I lead the team at Caris Legal Practice, and we are a Lagos-based real estate law firm, and we currently rank #1 on Google for real estate law firm in Nigeria. All right. So I reach over 10,000 people on my various platforms. I'm a legal content creator, so you see me on Instagram creating legal content, on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube. And I love myself over 100 clients, and we have a 4.9 Google rating. I am married and I have 2 children. Now, while I was preparing for this session, thank you from Ogba, from Lagos, from Ibadan. I am super delighted to have us all here. Now, when I was preparing for this session, I found this quote, and it really struck me. Trust me, I will be explaining later. But let's just read it. Many businesses come and go, but there's one thing we will always need, and that is land. Every one of us today, we're in one form of real estate or the other as we speak right now. You're either in your homes, depending on your time zone, or in your office. If you're not in your home, in your office, maybe you're in a public place, and you will still have to go home, right? Maybe you went to the mall, maybe you went to pick up something, you will still have to go home. There's inherent demand for real estate. Whether the land produces a product like coffee or is home to an apartment or retail space, so it will always be a good investment. No matter what kind of business you run, you need land. Now that's awesome. That is awesome. From Abuja, welcome. That is awesome. No matter what kind of business you do. Actually, one of the things we're going to be talking about today are the secrets of real estate, of land banking. And I'll be explaining this more. But you can see that everybody needs land. Whether you're doing agriculture, I'm a lawyer, I need real estate. I have an office. And even though we run a hybrid practice, all of us we live in homes, isn't it? So even if we work from home, we still need real estate. Everyone is in real estate, but some are actively in real estate and some are being passive. But of course, that is about to change today. So this is how to get the best of today's training. I want you to get the pen and a paper. I find that when we write, it's easier for us to recollect what we learn. And it's also very important to eliminate all distractions. Give or take, we should be out of here in 40 to 45 minutes. Although we have a lot to cover, but we try and really be fast. But at the same time, of course, I want to make sure that the message is passed. Thank you from Lagos, from UK. Thank you. All right. So eliminate all distractions. If you have other tabs on your phone that are left on, this is the time you want to minimize them. You want to put off Twitter, Facebook, other tabs, and just give your attention to this. And this is the reason why, because we'll be talking about a lot of things. I don't want you to miss any detail because it could be the point where I make a very important I give you one very important information that you get distracted and you don't hear it, and we don't want that to happen. You're here already, so it's actually worth the while to be here and be here fully. So this is what we're learning, what is land banking, and I'll be sharing practical testimonials about land banking. I told us that this is going to be a practical session. I am going to be sharing practical, real life testimonials about land banking. What are the common mistakes that people make in land banking? They are common and they are very costly. And what are the secrets of land banking? Now, land banking is one of the oldest real estate investment practices. Like when I was growing up, most times when people talk about, oh, I bought land or I invested in land, if they are maybe not building a house that they want to live, they want to do land banking. They are buying the house, then they are buying the land, and then they're leaving it for a while, and then the value would increase because in Nigeria, real estate always increases. This is due to a lot of factors. I would still be talking about that, but it's really hard. Actually, in my years of practice, I have not seen somebody buy land today, and in the next 2 years, they're selling the land for less the amount that they bought it. An instance that I have seen, however, is where someone bought the land and it was overpriced. So I've seen someone who, unfortunately, and this is not to say that this happens to everyone, but the person wanted to buy real estate. He didn't really know the price of land in that area. So the people he got who were doing the transaction for him, they inflated the price. It was so high. Maybe something I'm supposed to buy 10 million, you buy it for 20 million. So for him to even catch up, so because land in that area was being sold for 10 million at that time, he bought it for 20. So for him to make profits, he has to stay for the land to reach that no figure it should have. That's the 20 million, and then now increase. All right. I mean, and that's really it's in rare cases. I don't expect that if you want to buy real estate, you shouldn't do your findings. All right. It's very, very important. So usually land would appreciate. There's currently a brief I'm working on. Okay, we are even done with it. The person has bought it. The land in that area was being sold for 24 million in 2021 after the pandemic. Land in that area now goes for 70 million. And so if you bought land in that estate in 2021 for 45 million, you didn't develop it, you didn't do anything, just leave it in the estate. It's an estate, it's a very secure estate. Your money would just have literally gone from 24 to 25 million, from 45 million to 70 million. That's land banking. All right, that is land banking. Now, remember, I said I was going to be showing us practical examples of what people have to say about land banking. Now, these three women, the women that I really love and admire a lot, and Mrs. Udo Okonjo she's a lawyer, and she owns Fine and Country. Fine and Country deals in luxury residential real estate in Lagos. All right. Now, Mrs. Ibukun Awosika, we all know her. And Mrs. Nimi Akinkugbe, she's the ambassador of Nigeria to Greece. Let's see what they have to say about land banking. And I saw all these stories, all these short captions, these screenshots are from Mrs. Udo Okonjo's book on real estate. And this is one example. So when she wrote the book, she was talking about how 5 years ago, Lekki Phase 2 was being sold for 5 million, and now it's about 30 million. So that's 5 million to 30 million within the space of 5 years. Waterfront plots in Victoria Garden City, that's in Lagos, are now selling, as at the time she wrote this book, for 80 and 120 million. And 18 years ago, they were being sold for 5 million. And she tells this very fantastic story. I mean, sometimes when you hear these figures, it's almost like, is this possible? But I mean, I've seen a lot of them. I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of deed of assignments where people want to sell land. Now we are seeing what they bought it for at that time. And you're really wondering, like, this is crazy. It's almost crazy. I know a lady who bought 4 plots of land in Banana Island 25 years ago at 7 million each. Today, a plot of Banana Island goes for 400 for 300 to 400. That's just 4 years interval. No, that's 25 years interval. She's not a billionaire, like, just by buying the land. Okay, so I can see a question in the comment section. This is how we are going to doing this. I won't be taking questions whilst I'm running through the slides. All the questions are going to be after I'm done with the slides. I don't want us to lose focus, so just note your questions and then we can take the questions later. Now she talks about this really amazing story of a woman who she crossed from Oshodi to Parkview. And she said she wanted to set up a business, food business close to the airport, and she didn't want to rent the property. So she bought the property. She even had to borrow the money. It was 13 million. She borrowed it, and she started the business. But in Nigeria, business is very wonderful. Like, it takes a lot of courage to do business in Nigeria. And that because of a constant traveling and staff stealing her money, the business closed down. But this is where it gets interesting. But the business closed down, she still had the property. And a mortgage bank came to her saying they want to use the property. So she leased it to them for 25 million. Eventually, when the 5 years elapsed, she decided, oh, she got very sick. She had a stroke and she had major shifts. And when she the lease period expired, she got several offers, and she was able to sell that property. That property, when she sold it, gave her 80% of a five-bedroom house where she lives in Parkview Estate. Parkview is within Old Ikoyi. Is a highbrow place. So you can see, like, from Oshodi to Parkview, how buying a property at Oshodi. And then she becomes the owner of a property in Parkview. This is even a building, not land. These are other examples. Let me now, this is really, really, if you're following me online, you might have seen me talk about this story a lot. And Mrs. Ibukun Awosika story, how she needed equity for her business, 75 million. And she got the capital from land that she had bought. She bought the land for 5.2 million. She bought it in 2004, in 2000. And 4 years later, she's able to sell the land for 61.7. Now, this is a perfect example of land banking. She didn't develop the land. She didn't do anything to the land. She said she didn't even build a fence. She had the deed of assignment from the family. And when she was ready to dispose of the property, she just puts it off the market. This is another one. Yeah, Mrs. Nimi Akinkugbe. And this is very, very spectacular because we can see that in this case, she wasn't even the only person that did this land banking. She and her friends came together. They had 1.5 million each, so they pulled the funds together and bought 6 million. They bought it for 6 million. She said they never even visited the area, but they were lucky. Not everyone should do this though. There's some families you buy land from. If I will even encourage you to do land banking in some certain instances. We will still get to that. But she says that they spelled it out clearly. She and her friends who put the money together, they spelled it out clearly. And 4 years later, they sold it for 22 million. That's how much was it before? 6 million to 22 million within 4 years. I don't know of any other kind of investment, is it crypto, that can give you this kind of opportunities. Land banking offers you enormous opportunities. So you can literally start building a robust portfolio. You can literally start building generational wealth through land banking. All right. So what are the common mistakes that people makes when it comes to land banking? Let me know how the session is coming up. Is it making some sense to us? Let me know in the comment section. Now, the number one mistake that people make is they don't do due diligence. You want to buy property, and what's due diligence? It's all the steps you would take to ensure that your rights are protected in a transaction. Due diligence is not limited to real estate. Due diligence is what we do all the time. You want to change your laptop, you want to buy a new phone, you will do due diligence. How? If you look at it, okay, I want to buy a laptop. What's the most important feature to me? Then maybe you go online and search. I want a laptop with so and so big RAM, with so and so processor, I call this, that. All that you're doing is due diligence. All right. Now it's the same with real estate. You Now we've said so many figures tonight, and I'm sure that we are blown away and everything. But we must not be carried away with those figures. Because trust me, if you don't do due diligence and you run into trouble with the real estate, with the land that you buy, there won't even be the issue of, oh, my land is appreciated, because you're busy fighting on the issues relating to the land. If, for instance, you go ahead and buy land, you buy land that is owned by a family, from one single person, you're already in trouble. And I do not mean to be a prophet of doom, but family is more than one person. Family is a group of people bound by blood, or are related. So if someone is saying, I'm selling land to you, it belongs to my family, but you're dealing with only one person, you're going to run into trouble. Mr. Ifeanyi, please, we're going to take questions after, not now. I don't want to get sidetracked. Thank you. So If, for instance, you're buying land that somebody says, "Oh, I inherited it from my parents," and you don't follow the due process, you don't find out, okay, how did they inherit it? Was it under native land custom? Was there a will? Or did they go and get a letter of administration? You just jump into it and you buy it. There's going to be a problem. Because really, it is when you bought land that is secure, that you can think of profits, that you can think of, oh, it's appreciating, oh, my money is getting better, my money is increasing, the value of my money is increasing. All right. So due diligence is something we must not skip. Asking the right questions is part of due diligence. You want to buy a land, ask the right questions. Why is this land? Who owns this land? How did you become the owner? It's very, very key. All right. Now, no proper documentation. After you have done this due diligence, you have to ensure that there's proper documentation showing that you bought the land. Now, let me also add on the topic on due diligence, making sure that the landowner is not under government acquisition is part of it, because you really don't want to be fighting government. Am I right? You don't want to buy land that has been earmarked by the government for something or the other. You don't want to buy land that is under, what do you call it? Don't want to buy land that is under maybe a high tension wire. All right. It's very important that it's part of the due diligence process. Going to see what you want to buy is part of the due diligence process. So you have to ensure that you follow the due process properly. You have to ensure that you follow the due process properly. It's very important. All right. Proper documentation. Now, when you have done the due diligence, you've ensured that you're buying from the right people. These people want to sell to you. Truly, truly, they are the owners. They have proof that they are the owners, or that he or she is united with a single person, or if it's a company, you have proof that the company is the owner. The land is free from government acquisition. The land is genuine. All right. Then you want to move to payments, and you want to make sure there's documentation, because you can't buy land orally. You can't buy land orally and say, "Oh, I bought land." Where's the proof? There has to be something that shows that you have bought the land. And the law is very clear when it comes to when it comes to real estate. There's proper documentation that has to be done. Apart from that, if you buy property, you don't have proper documentation, it's going to make it difficult for you if there's any issue and you have to go to court. So I used to be a litigation lawyer. I mean, I used to be in court. I used to go to court. I did a lot of land cases in the Lekki Ajaxes in Lagos. Trust me, they're not funny at all. They're not funny. And oftentimes, what will make the difference why someone would get judgment or not, and another person won't get judgment in their favor, will be proper documentation. Especially once you're buying, and it's not like you are an omonile that inherited it, and maybe they don't have documentation because they inherited it. But you now buy from them and you don't have documentation, there will be trouble, because it will be difficult for you to prove how did you get ownership. So making sure that you have proper documentation is very important. Let me know how this session is going. Drop your favorite emojis in the comment section. I need to take a sip of water. So let me know how it's going. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, this is another mistake that people make when it comes to doing it yourself, and when it comes to real estate. When it comes to land banking, sorry, we're being very specific in today's training. It's not general real estate, because real estate could include land, includes housing and everything, but this is land. It's doing it yourself. You can't act as the role of a lawyer. You can't do the role of the surveyor. All right. Who else would you need? You can't even do the role of a realtor. And I say that because, so I have to state that a realtor is not someone who just connects you and say, okay, you want to buy land, I found land for you here, and connects the two of you. No, I'm talking of a professional who is abreast of the trends in real estate. Who can tell you with what is going on in this space? This is will be the likelihood that this space is going to blow up in the next 1, 2, 3 years. That's a realtor right there. I prefer to use that term. Someone who understands real estate, who is not just into real estate for I just want to connect A to B. I want to connect the seller to the buyer. You understand my point? So you need to know that you can't do it all alone. Sometimes you want to take certain decisions, but these professionals will be able to guide you. All right. For instance, I had someone reach out to me one day from Ibadan. She says, "I want to buy this land." I said, "Okay, beautiful. So who wants to sell to you?" Well, she said, "It's one man that wants to sell to me." But they actually the land they okay, it was even a house, but the same rules apply. The house belongs to their father. Said no, a child cannot sell what belongs to his or her father. If you want to buy, you have to buy from the father. You have to reach out to the father. All right. And I said, "Oh, the father is late." I said, "Is he or she is he the only child?" She said, "No, they have siblings." So what have they done? Did the father have a will? Was there a letter of administration? She couldn't answer those questions. I told her it would be risky for you to just go ahead and buy property from someone who is not the owner, because those children are not the owner. And although if the father is late, there's what the law stipulates that if you're buying inherited property, you have to follow the procedure. So maybe they either have to have done probate if there is a will, or if there's no will, there's a letter of administration. You don't want to buy property from one of the siblings. The next 2 years, the second sibling comes and says, "Ah, I was not involved." Then you now start going to court and fighting. Like it's not exactly an interesting situation to be in. So when it comes to real estate, don't do it yourself. You need a lot of knowledge. You need a lot of knowledge, because when I had this discussion with the lady, she was like, "Oh wow, I didn't know." But of course, you are in this class, and I know that you love knowledge. Knowledge is very key. Knowledge will save you. Now, whatever type of asset you're investing in, whether it's real estate or any other type of asset, get knowledge about it. Don't just go into it with the mindset of, "Oh, they said it's profitable." That can be very risky. That something is profitable doesn't mean there's not a way to go about it. It's very important. So get knowledge about real estate. Now, if you've gotten knowledge, you've checked the land is fine, your lawyer has done all the checks and everything, you have bought the land. Remember, because land banking is I buy land, I hold for a while, and then I could decide what to do with it. I could decide to sell. I've had a situation also where a woman bought land, she just left it for a while, and the value increased, and then she got an offer for a joint venture. So the way the joint venture is structured is that she has the land. The joint venture partner has the funds to build. So she's not bringing in anything more than the her initial investment of the land that she's bought, and she had bought it like for quite a while. So they have this joint venture. They will build the houses, number of blocks, and then they will share it. So let's say, for instance, maybe they're building seven, and this is not just an example. Everything depends on your lawyer and how you negotiate. But you build seven blocks of maybe seven apartments, and then they share. So maybe the woman we have three, or maybe she'll have three. She'll have three. The joint venture partner would have four. But we get the idea, isn't it? Now, what does that means for her? She has three flats. She can decide to sell them. And of course, we know what the price of apartments are. So this story is actually a real life story. It was one of my we had this real estate advisor who had come on a live session, and she was telling us this story online on our Instagram live. So the land was in Cherry View, that's around Chevron in Lagos. So she can decide to sell the houses, each apartment. Of course, by the time she finished selling those apartments, she's going to be making a lot more money than the cost of the land that she bought at that time. Or she can decide to put it up for rent, just rent it out, and she's getting cash flow. So every month, every year, they're paying her rent. So we see how just that initial investment, that initial okay, my dad is here. Just thank you, sir. So we can see how just that initial investment of buying a plot of land, this I think was a plot of land, buying a plot of land has turned over for her to to apartments in number of years. That's the beauty of real estate, all right? But it's very important that you secure the land. I don't want to forget this point. It's very important because within the time frame that you buy the land and then you sell it, we don't want trespassers, isn't it? We don't want trespassers. So that's why when you are doing land banking, securing the land is top priority. Securing the land, making sure that trespassers don't take over your land, ensuring that your possession is intact for the time period is very, very important. All right. So, what are the secrets of land banking? Now we've talked about the mistakes, costly mistakes that people make, and what we should do instead. But what are the secrets of land banking that we need to know? Now, let me know in the comment section. Out of all these costly mistakes that we've talked about, which one stands out for you? Which one really resonates with you? Which one do you really you can like relate? Maybe you've seen people around you make those mistakes and they're like, yes, Tosin, you're right. So I've seen this live and direct. Let me know in the comment section. I'm waiting for a comment. So which of them resonates with you? These costly mistakes that we talked about, which one can you really say, oh, this really stands out for me? I would really love to. I can relate. I've seen instances like that. Are we here? All right. I think it's a little. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Securing the land. Actually, you are very right. Because if you do everything from beginning to the end, you do it well. But if securing the land, you fail to secure it, it can just be a waste. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really shows that you are listening. So let us talk about secrets of land banking in Nigeria. Oh, Mr. Franco, we talks about no proper documentation. That's also one costly mistake because if you don't have proper documentation, how do you even show you are the owner? Thank you so much. I am super delighted that to see that we are actually following. So let's see the secrets of land banking. Number one is land in Nigeria always appreciates. Why? Our population is part of the reason why land appreciates because everyone is into real estate, but you might be doing it actively or otherwise. Thank you. Can be doing real estate actively or otherwise. You are into real estate. You pay rent to somebody. That's real estate. You work in an office. The office either owns the property or they are paying rent. That's real estate. You go to the market. Market is real estate. You go to the shopping mall. It's real estate. Your children's school, real estate. Church, mosque, worship centers, real estate. So we see that real estate is a part of our life every day. Even God is into real estate. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Everyone is into real estate. Now, in Nigeria, our population, like I said, is an added advantage. Why? As we are increasing more and more, we need real estate. And you know, we're one of the fastest growing populations in the world. So, what is going to happen to everyone who is in the children that we are giving birth to? They need real estate. So, maybe when you get married, you and your wife, you can manage maybe a two-bedroom, or even a one-bedroom. By the time you get married and children start coming, you need a larger house. Those children will go to school. All right. So our population is another advantage to real estate in Nigeria. That's why real estate always appreciates, except if you buy it overpriced. But if you follow the due process, real estate will always appreciate. Now, this is one very important point that I need us to know. Because some people will say, oh, I want to buy real estate, but I don't have money. It is because they are looking at the what you cannot afford. And this is what I usually advise. If you can put money together for real estate, if you can put any money you can put together within 1 year, 2 year max, look for the property that money can buy. and do it. The secret is just get started. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in Lagos or Port Harcourt or Abuja. It doesn't have to be only the major cities. I've seen people who have been in real estate and they're not in any of these major cities. They are in other cities and they really made a living from it. They have acquired so many properties, and when they pass, they've left those properties for their children. Let me tell us a real life story. I said this is going to be a very practical session. So this story was actually told to me by the accountant of this man. And when he was growing up, he had a really rough beginning. So he wasn't educated, he was an house help. And then he started business. So he started doing business, all right? And but he was a very hardworking person, definitely. But he had integrity. And you know how it is. Opportunity favors the diligence. So he really had this opportunity. And then before you know it, he became the sole distributor for a particular type of um, machine in the southwest then. So the man is actually late now. He passed like 2 years ago at over 80. So he became the sole distributor and he was making money. Now this is where it gets interesting. So he started his real estate journey. So he would go to areas, and he didn't invest in Lagos, he was in Ibadan. We go to areas that were just coming up, like areas where people are going to be, this space is going to become new sites. People are going to be moving to this spaces building. So you will go there, go and meet the villagers. You buy many plots of land. You will leave it for a while. So by the time the place is opening up and people are going there to buy, they are coming to buy from him. So that was the money he was making from the business. That was what he was putting it into. And then gradually, he had not less than 20 properties by the time he died, and had even sold some. Because at some point, he couldn't work again. He was old, and the business couldn't continue running. We know the peculiarities of running a business in Nigeria when you're not actively involved. You know how it can really get interesting. But the real estate for him was still there. So he would maybe sell one house, put the money in fixed deposit. He could spend the money from one house for like 5 years. I mean, it was it wasn't he didn't need his children's money at that age. He was just the real estate he had invested in sustained him. In fact, he wrote his will, made provision for funeral expenses, wrote how he wanted his property to be shared with his children and grandchildren when he passed. This is an uneducated man, but he started from somewhere, and he didn't initially invest in Lagos. All right, so start from somewhere. So it's very important to get started. Don't say, I want to buy Banana Island, but you don't have the money for banana. So where can the money that you have, where can you buy? Then you do your research. Remember what I said about knowledge. Doing your research, getting knowledge about real estate is a must. If you're going to real estate and you're just doing it based on, I heard there's money there, and that's all. That's all you know. Like for instance, some people will reach out to me and say, I want to buy land in Ibejuleki. My budget is 5 million. If such a person gets scammed, I won't be surprised because there's no land in Ibeju that is 5 million. And when someone asks me that kind of question, I know they are not done research. And by research could be as simple as Google what's the price range for a plot of land in Ibeju. All right, it's very important. You cannot want to buy real estate that you want to fix the price. It's the price that is prevalent in that area that you would buy. I've had people who have gotten such offers and then they will later say, oh, I didn't get land, I didn't get anything. And I'm like, even yourself, you're the one we should call scammer. Abi, because when land in an area is going for 15 million, 20 million, then you see someone who is selling for 5 million. As a that should alert you, like, no, don't think you're getting a good deal first. That should alert you to like, why would someone sell something so low within the same area and there's nothing involved? There's no issue at all. It's very, very risky. All right. So it's important that you have knowledge if you want to go into land banking and follow the due process. Follow the due process. Now I've talked about the due process when I talked about those mistakes that people make. But let me run through them again because this is something that really has to stick. This is something that I really want us to take note of. All right. Due diligence is very important. If you've been following me for a while, you will know that is one of my favorite terms that I use often, because doing due diligence would open your eyes to a lot of things. For instance, you want to buy land from a family, you go to the area to find out how do they operate in the. There are some families that once you buy from them, you know you're about trouble. The best thing to do is just to dash them the money and go. Because they'll sell the same land to like five people. So do you know I want to file five cases in court? If or maybe you even file one case and join all of them. When are you really going to finish? And the issue now is that you are even the family that even sold to you, they're the same person that sold to all these people. So your root of title is even from the same people. Doing due diligence is very key. Proper documentation, very important. You have to make sure that you have proper documentation transferring ownership to you. I see people carry about documents that does not make them the owner of the property. And they're probably thinking, our boss property is mine. All the are very risky. Now, another thing is that the due procedure is you also have to secure the land. Secure the land. So there are people, sometimes people are very lucky, you buy land from families, and these families are very wonderful and organized. When you buy from them, they are secure. But not all families are like that. All right. And of course, it doesn't you don't have to buy from a family. You can be buying from an individual, you be buying from a company. But whichever way, securing the land has to be top priority to you. Okay, it's very, very important. And then you wait for the magic to happen. As the years pass by, your money is growing and you are making money. So the value of the land increases and you're literally growing rich, even in your sleep. Okay, so that is that for today's session. Now, there's a lot more to land banking. Definitely, there's a lot more. But today, this is what we are covering. Now, who wants to learn more about the nitty gritty of land banking? There's what to do when you're buying from a family. The due diligence process that you would follow when you're buying from a family is different from what you would do when you're buying from an individual or from a company. Remember what I talked about? Someone buying land belonging to family from one individual. That's trouble. That is definitely trouble. So what are the specific things that you would do in different cases? Okay, I'm buying from a family. What do I do? I'm buying from a community. What do I do? I'm buying from a company. What do I do? How do I really know these areas that are likely to appreciate fast? What are the factors that point out that this area is going to be the next big thing? It's going to be the next how is it called now? The next best thing after gig bread. Now, when you're buying land and paying in installments, how do you go about it? How do you go about securing the land? There are specific steps to take to secure land. Just buying and leaving there is not doesn't make it secure. There's what you need to do from time to time. What is the proper documentation when you are buying real estate? How do you choose a realtor? Remember, I talked about how a realtor is very important to your decisions. And who are the professionals that you will need to work with when you are doing real estate. All right. What's the step by step? We don't just a review of that tonight, but there's a lot more details to that. Who wants to learn all this about land banking? Yes, this is everything I just talked about now. Identifying land that would appreciate. What do you look out for in inspections? Because sometimes when you want to buy land, part of the due diligence is you go for an inspection. When you go for inspections, there are certain things that we even tell you. You will just see, they will signal to you, there's trouble, there's trouble, there's trouble. All right. You are buying land, you are paying installment. How do you go about it? Who are the professionals you need? What are the checks you need to do? What do you do? You're paying installment. What are the step-by-step investing? And based on statistics, what's the minimum time frame for holding land for you to be able to recoup your investment? All right. So in the comment section, let me know if this is something that you would want to learn about. So just type in the comment section, yes, I would like to know more. Yes, I want to know this. Yes, I would like to know this. So type in the comment section if you would like to know all this that I just stated. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, fantastic. Yes, I want to know more. I can see us. Fantastic, fantastic, awesome. So I'm having a training next week Sunday, but not the same time. It will be 4 p.m. because that class is going to be a very detailed class. You can see everything I talked about here now that we're going to learn. And the title is Real Estate Profits. Real, how do you profit from real estate? From land banking, build a generational wealth. Remember the story of that man that I talked about? That I said was an uneducated household. It was through land banking that he built generational wealth. I mean, like it was a favorite of his grandchildren. You know how sweet it was. It was a grandpa who didn't need to rely on his children. So whether they bring money, they don't bring money. He had set up his retirement by himself by investing in real estate. So all this is what you'll be learning in the live webinar. It's going to be a live webinar like this because I want it to be interactive. Number one, number two, I want to take your questions live and direct. All right. So and we've had 27 people already who have signed up. So who wants to join these 27 people to get these tickets to real estate profits through land banking, specifically through land banking? Anyone can do land banking. I've seen the uneducated, the educated, the very rich, the not so rich. I've seen people grow wealth through land banking. So if you would like to be a part of this, then you can click this link. I'm going to be dropping it in the chat box, in the chat box, so you can see that it's from me. Ah, Mr. Andrew, awesome. You're already among the 27. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, next week Sunday. So we can see that we even have part of those who are among the 27. Lucky you, sir. All right, so you can click this link. I don't know if it is clickable, and the class is just 9,500. I mean, that's less than the price of a good shoe for ladies. A good bag. You can't even get a bag for 9,500. I don't think it's possible again. What else again? Can you even cook chicken soup for 9,500? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. All right, so click the link, and if you would prefer to, do a direct transfer, these are the bank details. So if you can't click it here, I know most of us got, I will take questions. Mr. Ifeanyi, I'm coming. We got WhatsApp messages, right? Sending us the link for today's class. So you can go to that WhatsApp message. Just type pay. All right, so just type pay. It will send you the link. And if you want to do a direct transfer, just type transfer. It will send you the link. I will still send us the link when we are done with the session. Okay, Mr. Ifeanyi says, I would like to know how to choose a realtor. Yes, that's part of what we will be looking at next week. But let me just give you something in preparation with regards to the question. So if you're talking to a realtor, the most important thing is talking to someone who is knowledgeable, not just someone who just wants to connect you with okay, connect the seller to the buyer. That's an agent. A realtor is more knowledgeable. A realtor can say, oh, usually a realtor will start by asking you, okay, what's your budget? What are you looking at? Your budget will affect a lot of things. What you are looking at too would affect a lot of things. For instance, you can't put money that you want to use to pay school fees in September in real estate. It's not going to work because real estate is not Ponzi, all right. And as much as real estate appreciates fast, it's not like within the space of 3 months, it's going to appreciate so fast. And then because real estate is not something that it's not like I want to sell these glasses, for instance. I can sell it by tomorrow morning. Real estate is not like that. So definitely one thing you should look out for is knowledge. A realtor who is knowledgeable is very key. A realtor who is not just in the transaction for I want to earn a commission and leave. A realtor who understands what you need and then they can advise you appropriately. All right, so that is that for Mr. Ifeanyi. So if you want to know a lot more, we'll be doing a deep dive into that next week Sunday. So ensure you click that link to make payments, or you can reply any of the messages on WhatsApp that I sent to you. Just type pay. If you type pay, it will send you the link to make payment to join this class. And registration closes by Friday, 11:59 p.m. But if I were you, I would go ahead and register today. Why? So there was a class that I saw online last week. I'm telling us this example. I'm just using myself as an example, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing something now. I'll come and do it later. So my people, I see the post later when the class they have done it. It pains me, and it just really taught me like procrastination is very bad. Like we should not procrastinate at all. So that's why I'm encouraging you. Tomorrow is going to be Monday. The week is going to get busy. So before the week gets busy and then you forget about the class, go and join immediately. So this is all that you would be learning again. How do, so sorry, let me go. Okay, yes. How do you identify lands that would appreciate faster? What are the factors that we can see from the trends? They can tell us, oh, this land, from what we can study the trends, this land would appreciate. What should you look out for when you are going for an inspection? What are the due diligence steps when you are buying land from families, you're buying land from individuals, from communities? What should you do? You want to pay in installments. There's a way to go about it. You can't do it in every other way. What's the proper documentation for land? How do you secure the land that you want to buy? All right, it's very important. Choosing a realtor. It's very important. You have to choose the right realtor. What are the professionals you need? What checks should you do? Because if you want to buy real estate, there are things you have to check. There are questions you have to ask. Asking the right questions will save you a lot of headache. All right. And what's the step by step from beginning to the end? What should you do first? What should you do next? What should you do next? We talked about just a little. Like to what we've talked about in today's class is just the tip of the iceberg. It's like the what you hit before the meal. What's the name of that thing? Before the main meal. Yeah. The main party is the main party is in this webinar that will be holding next week Sunday by 4 p.m. So everyone who registers will get the link, the Zoom link. It will be on Zoom to be a very interactive webinar where you also get to ask me questions. And I'm also working on a workbook for us, my land banking roadmap. So when you finish, you go and fill it. You commit to it that I've attended this session today. I'm going to buy this land. Yeah, thank you, peace, appetizer. I'm going to buy a land by so and so period. Because yes, knowledge is wonderful, but you have to do something with it immediately. So that's why I'm including that workbook. That is going to be your personalized land banking roadmap. And I'm going to be keeping everyone who is in this class accountable. So you'll be getting mails from me asking you how far. So let me tell us a story to round up. Mr. Andrew, oh yes, they are part of the class, so definitely we'll be talking about that in in the webinar next week. So let me tell us a story about someone who. So the person was just giving me this gist, though, and I love real estate gist because I like practical stories. So yes, I love to know that yes, real estate is booming in Nigeria, blah blah. But I really want to see real people like you and me who are killing it in real estate. So this person didn't even go to the university, but he said his uncle told him something that look at real estate with what the kind of ambition that you have, the kind of money that you want, real estate is what will kill it for you. And he did, and he started at a very young age. And currently, one of the properties that he bought a property that now fell into the central business district. So central business districts are the commercial areas in the city that usually attract the highest prices. The places where we have bank branches, the main roads where you have bank branches, big malls, filling stations, big supermarkets. The prices that lands in those areas usually attract, they're very high. Now imagine when you buy the land in that area and then you bought it really cheap and it was appreciated. And then they now did a joint venture and they built. So he didn't even use his money. Remember what I said? And they did a joint venture and they built the building. And so they have this what do you call it? They have this block of commercial properties. What's the word? Flats, offices. They have offices. And how just one of his tenants pays 180 million per year for renting that space. And that's just one. So it's a block of flat or a block of offices. All right. You see a shopping mall we call that. It's not a shopping mall, it's a block of offices. Because he got into real estate, he got in quite early. He had an eye for identifying the right places to invest in. That's the beauty of real estate. And I look forward to seeing us all at the session next week. Trust me, this is just a tip of the iceberg. Can I use beacons to secure the land? Yes, physically, yes, you can use beacons to secure the land. Although there's a lot more than that. So let me have our questions. And for everyone who registers for this real estate profits, they will have access to the replay. So we're going to be making available the replay. But of course, you should attend live so that you can get all the knowledge that you need in the class. And then you can ask me your question and I can answer instantly, like a video like this. All right. So any questions? Think okay, someone asked me for the name of the book. So it's Real Women Invest in Real Estate. Let me type the name of the book, but I cannot really recollect where I bought it. I bought it a few years back. So it's Real Women, no, Real. And whilst is a book written for women, I think everybody who is interested in real estate should read it by Odo Okonjo. So that's the title of the book. I think that was a question that was asked. How do you find out if land is overpriced? It's by asking questions. So you want to buy land in an area, you find out what's the price range in that area. You don't just buy land because someone just told you that they are selling land in that area. And you want to find out. That's why the place of due diligence cannot be overemphasized. And I think it's really easy now. It's really easy now to know the price of land. Like for instance, one someone reached out to me and said, "Oh, we want you to sell. What's the range of property in this area?" I just went to Google and search. All right, so that's it. That is it. Is there a group for real estate investors you would recommend? I don't know of any. I don't know of any group for real estate investors. All right. Wow. Yeah, we've spent almost an hour, and I actually planned that this shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. But we had a lot to cover, so and I really wanted us to cover everything. So I look forward to seeing us. And for those who are watching the replay, you can type in your questions below, and we'll answer them. And make sure if you're watching the replay before um, Friday, Friday the 21st of July, make sure you grab. So the registration for the real estate profit webinar is going to close that Friday night. So make sure you to grab a seat. And all right, how has this session been? Let me know in the comment section before we log off. It's almost 9 p.m. How has the session been? Has it been worth your while? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you. I see feedback. How has the session been? Let me know in the comment section as we round up. Thank you, Bim Fadel, Debbie Ogumbo. Thank you for the review. Yes, yes, I look forward to seeing you to next week Sunday, God willing. Okay, everyone who's joining, I hope this has been helpful to you. And if you want to go into land banking, then you should definitely sign up for the class for the webinar on Sunday. Yes, thank you, Mr. Andrew. You said you enjoyed the appetizer. Yes, this is just the appetizer. The main course meal with the dessert, pepper soup, goat meat, pepper soup, ice cream, everything is coming next week, Sunday. So we will be having a real field day breaking down and talking in details about land banking. And I sure look forward to seeing you there too. All right, thank you. This is the stage where we are signing out, and I'll be sending you follow-up emails. So if you want to watch this again, I'll be leaving the replay for just 48 hours. So by Tuesday evening, this session will no longer be available online. So if you want to watch it again, if you think, oh, maybe if you joined us late, or you think maybe, oh, I think I missed some things, you can always just watch the replay. I'll send the link to the replay will be sent to you shortly. And of course, make sure to grab a ticket to join the webinar, the real estate profit webinar, building generational wealth through real estate, that happens next week. Join 27 people, and you've seen people who have signed up for the webinar and they are here this evening. So know that they are real. There are real people like you who have signed up. So make sure to join us for the webinar. All right. So I wish us a very productive week and blessed week, and see you next week by God's grace. Bye bye. Okay, Mr. Frank Obi, thank you. So I'll be sending us the link. You can use the link to pay for those who have not yet registered. You can use the link to pay. It's just 9,500, and then we'll see you. All right, I have to go. Thank you.